Imagine amidst the constant storm and turbulence of life, you could find a peaceful harbor. A place where the waves of chaos cannot touch you. A sanctuary where nothing disturbs your serenity. This is not a dream, but a profound reality that can be nurtured through the power of cultivating judgment and developing emotional invincibility. It is through such inner strength that we can remain undisturbed, even when life throws its most unpredictable and challenging circumstances our way. In the world we live in, it is not always the external events that cause us the most pain, but our response to them. As Epictetus, the famous Stoic philosopher, once said, "Some things are within our control and some things are not." The key to achieving inner peace lies in understanding this distinction. Stoicism teaches us that while we cannot control the actions of others or the events that happen to us, we can always control how we react to them. This is where true freedom and peace begin, not in controlling the world around us, but in mastering our own thoughts and emotions. In this video, inspired by the 10 key principles of Stoicism, we will guide you on a journey to develop an undisturbed state of being. You will learn to build a mental fortress where nothing from the outside world can disrupt the tranquility within. By embracing Stoic philosophy, you can learn to actively cultivate inner peace, regardless of the external storms that may arise. This journey will explore how to nurture an invincible mindset, one that is impervious to the unpredictable nature of life. Principle 1. Firm purpose, the foundation of inner strength. A fundamental principle of Stoicism is the cultivation of a firm purpose. Epictetus once said, "Difficulties show a person's character, and the greater the difficulty, the more glory in surmounting it." This statement highlights an essential truth. Difficulties are not obstacles, but opportunities to reveal and strengthen our character. When we face challenges, our responses to them reflect our inner strength and resolve. A firm purpose is not something that happens by chance. It is crafted from moments of deep reflection on what truly matters to us. It is the result of choosing values and principles that we are willing to dedicate our lives to. Once we have identified our purpose, the next step is to commit to it with unwavering dedication. It is through perseverance and steadfast commitment to our purpose that we find our greatest strength. A firm purpose acts as an anchor during life's storms. It gives us direction when we feel lost and stability when everything around us seems uncertain. It is the guiding light that helps us navigate life's most challenging moments. When we face setbacks or hardships, a firm purpose reminds us that there is a greater cause at play, one that is worth fighting for. In times of difficulty, a firm purpose is the lifeline that keeps us from sinking into despair. Just like a pilot who gains their reputation from navigating through storms, we too develop our strength and resilience through the challenges we face. Stoic philosophy teaches us that nothing is impossible when we align ourselves with a clear purpose. When we are anchored in purpose, no challenge is too great and no adversity can defeat us. Principle 2. Guarding the mind, protecting your inner peace. Imagine for a moment that you would never consider handing over control of your body to a stranger. You wouldn't entrust your well-being to someone who has not earned your trust. Yet when we allow our minds to be hijacked by the opinions and judgments of others, we are essentially handing over control of our emotional well-being to people who may not have our best interests at heart. This is the crux of Stoic wisdom. Our minds are our own, and we must guard them diligently. When we allow ourselves to be swayed by the opinions of others, we lose our inner peace. In Stoicism, we learn that emotions are not caused by external events themselves, but by the judgments we make about those events. If someone offends us or criticizes us, the hurt we feel is not caused by their words, but by the way we interpret them. This realization gives us the power to choose how we respond. We are not passive recipients of external influence. Instead, we actively shape our emotional reactions. For example, consider a baker who focuses each day on improving their craft. No matter how much praise or criticism they receive, they remain unaffected by the opinions of others. They focus on the process, not the external validation. The baker does not allow negative feedback to disturb their peace or detract from their efforts. By practicing this kind of emotional detachment, we can learn to overcome criticism and cultivate inner peace. The path to emotional freedom begins with awareness. By understanding that we have the power to control how we respond to any given situation, we begin to fortify our minds against the waves of negativity that often threaten our peace. Stoic philosophy teaches us to recognize our emotions, but not to be ruled by them. In doing so, we can achieve a sense of inner peace that remains undisturbed by external turmoil. Principle 3. Responding to criticism. Strengthen patience and self-awareness. In a world where judgment is inevitable, it is crucial to learn how to respond to criticism and negativity in a way that preserves our sense of self. As Epictetus taught, we cannot control the opinions or actions of others, but we can control how we react to them. When someone speaks ill of us, our immediate reaction might be to feel hurt, angry, or defensive. However, Stoicism teaches us that our emotional response is a choice, and we can decide how to handle the situation. This principle emphasizes the importance of having a clear and accurate understanding of who we are. When we are confident in our values, motivations, and beliefs, the negative words of others become less impactful. We recognize that their opinions do not define us. Instead of becoming defensive or upset, we can view their criticism as an opportunity for growth. Take, for example, the story of a saint or philosopher who faced insults with patience and gentleness. Despite being harmed or criticized, these individuals did not retaliate or allow the negativity to affect their peace. Instead, they maintained their composure and responded with kindness. They understood that their worth was not determined by the opinions of others, and their sense of self remained intact. To live a life that is not disturbed by the words of others, we must develop self-awareness and patience. We need to recognize that others' opinions are just that, opinions. They do not define us, nor do they have the power to disrupt our inner peace unless we allow them to. By cultivating patience and remaining grounded in our values, we can respond to criticism with grace and maintain our tranquility. Principle 4. The power of perception. Transforming offense into opportunity. One of the core teachings of Stoic philosophy is the idea that the real source of suffering is not the external event, but our perception of it. Epictetus famously said, "What really frightens and dismays us is not external events themselves, but the way in which we think about them." This principle encourages us to examine our perceptions and challenge the narratives we create around negative events. When we are insulted or criticized, it's easy to feel hurt, angry, or ashamed. However, Stoicism invites us to take a step back and reframe the situation. Instead of viewing the event as an attack, we can see it as an opportunity to practice patience and self-control. Perhaps the criticism is not an attack, but rather a prompt for us to reconsider our actions or perspectives. For example, if a colleague criticizes a presentation you gave, instead of reacting defensively, you can pause and reflect on the feedback. Is there any truth to their words? Can you use their criticism to improve your future work? This shift in perspective not only helps you maintain composure, but also allows you to turn the negative experience into a stepping stone for personal growth. The Stoics teach that the strength does not come from avoiding difficulties, but from knowing how to embrace and overcome them. When we change our perspective, we can transform every challenge, every offense, and every difficulty into an opportunity for growth and self-improvement. This is the essence of Stoic resilience, finding light in the darkness and using adversity as fuel for personal development. Principle 5. Overcoming fear and shame, liberating the soul from external validation. Fear and shame are two emotions that often hold us back in life. We fear failure, rejection, and judgment, and we feel shame when we fall short of expectations. Yet according to Stoic philosophy, these emotions are not the result of external circumstances, but of how we assign meaning to those circumstances. As Epictetus taught, we are the ones who assign meaning to every event, thus creating fear and shame within our souls. To overcome fear and shame, we must shift our focus from seeking external validation to finding our worth within. Stoicism encourages us to live according to our values and principles rather than seeking approval from others. When we stop defining our worth by the opinions and judgments of the outside world, we free ourselves from the grip of fear and shame. Consider the example of someone who feels embarrassed after making a mistake at work. Instead of allowing the shame to consume them, they can use the experience as a lesson. What can they learn from the mistake? How can they grow and improve? By embracing mistakes and learning from them, we not only overcome fear and shame, but also build resilience and strength. Living with courage and self-awareness is the key to overcoming fear and shame. We must be willing to confront our fears, acknowledge our mistakes, and learn from them. This process of self-discovery and self-improvement is what leads to true freedom. The freedom to live authentically, without being shackled by the fear of judgment or the need for approval. Principle 6. Anticipating obstacles. Preparing the mind for life's challenges. One of the key teachings of Stoicism is the principle of anticipating obstacles. Life is full of uncertainties and challenges are inevitable. However, rather than reacting to difficulties as they arise, Stoicism encourages us to prepare for them in advance. By envisioning potential obstacles and mentally preparing ourselves to face them, we strengthen our ability to handle adversity with calm and clarity. Epictetus teaches that true strength comes from preparing ourselves to confront life's challenges, not from avoiding them. When we anticipate difficulties, we do not fear them. Instead, we build resilience by planning for the unexpected. This proactive mindset allows us to approach life's obstacles with confidence and poise. Imagine, for example, a marathon runner preparing for a race. She is aware of the potential obstacles, bad weather, unexpected injuries, or fatigue that could disrupt her progress. Instead of fearing these possibilities, she plans accordingly. She adjusts her training, prepares for varying conditions, and ensures that she's physically and mentally ready for the challenges that may arise on race day. When the unexpected happens, she remains calm and focused, drawing strength from her preparation. Anticipating obstacles is not about being pessimistic or expecting the worst. It's about being mentally and emotionally equipped to handle whatever life throws at us. By practicing this principle, we can navigate life's ups and downs with resilience and grace. Principle 7. No one can hurt you. The power to choose your response. One of the most empowering principles of Stoic philosophy is the idea that no one can truly hurt us unless we allow them to. While external events may trigger emotional reactions, it is ultimately our responsibility to choose how we respond. Stoicism teaches us that our inner peace is not dependent on the actions of others, but on our ability to control our reactions. When we face criticism, rejection, or betrayal, it's natural to feel hurt. However, Stoicism challenges us to pause and reflect before reacting emotionally. We have the power to choose how we respond to any situation. This ability to choose our response is where true freedom lies. For example, imagine receiving harsh criticism from a trusted friend or colleague. Initially, you may feel hurt and betrayed, but instead of allowing those feelings to dictate your actions, you take a moment to breathe and assess the situation. You remind yourself that their opinion is just one perspective, and it does not define you. By choosing not to let the criticism affect you emotionally, you maintain your inner peace and preserve your sense of self-worth. Stoicism teaches us that our emotional well-being is not subject to the opinions or actions of others. When we internalize this truth, we gain the freedom to respond with wisdom and maturity rather than reacting impulsively. By practicing this principle, we can navigate life's challenges with emotional resilience and composure. Principle 8. Self-restraint in action. The power of thoughtful action. Self-restraint is one of the cornerstones of Stoic philosophy. It is not enough to simply control our thoughts. We must also exercise self-restraint in our actions. Epictetus emphasized that true strength lies in our ability to choose our actions based on reason rather than being driven by impulsive emotions. In moments of conflict or adversity, it is easy to react emotionally, whether through anger, frustration, or defensiveness. However, Stoicism teaches us that responding impulsively often leads to undesirable outcomes. Instead, we must practice restraint by pausing before acting and considering the best course of action based on reason and wisdom. Imagine being in an important meeting when a colleague criticizes your ideas. In that moment, you might feel the urge to react with anger or defensiveness. However, Stoicism encourages you to take a deep breath and pause before responding. By exercising self-restraint, you can assess the situation objectively and respond in a way that fosters constructive dialogue rather than conflict. This thoughtful approach not only helps resolve the issue at hand, but also demonstrates maturity and emotional intelligence. Self-restraint is not about suppressing our emotions or denying our feelings. It's about choosing how to express them in a way that aligns with our values and principles. By exercising restraint, we maintain control over our actions, ensuring that we respond thoughtfully and intentionally to the challenges we face. Principle 9. The power of acceptance. Embracing what is. The Stoic principle of acceptance teaches us to embrace life as it comes without resistance. Acceptance does not mean resignation or passivity. Rather, it means acknowledging the reality of a situation and responding to it in a calm, rational manner. Stoicism encourages us to recognize that many things in life are beyond our control. And instead of fighting against them, we should accept them and focus on what we can change. Imagine you're on a long journey and suddenly realize you've lost your way. The initial reaction might be one of frustration, anger, or fear. However, by applying the principle of acceptance, you can recognize that worrying about being lost won't change the situation. Instead of letting those negative emotions take over, you accept the reality of being lost and focus on finding a solution, whether that's using a map, asking for directions, or finding a new route. Through acceptance, you regain control of your emotions and empower yourself to take constructive action. The power of acceptance lies in recognizing that some things are simply beyond our control. We cannot change the fact that we are lost, but we can control how we respond to the situation. By accepting what is and focusing on what we can influence, we cultivate a sense of peace and clarity. Acceptance also means acknowledging our emotions without being controlled by them. Instead of denying our feelings of frustration or fear, we can recognize them, accept them, and then choose how to move forward in a way that aligns with our values. By practicing acceptance, we release the grip of negative emotions and open ourselves to greater peace and contentment. Principle 10. Living. According to nature, embracing the flow of life. One of the most profound aspects of Stoic philosophy is the principle of living in harmony with nature. According to Epictetus and other Stoic thinkers, living a meaningful life is not about controlling every aspect of the world around us, but about aligning ourselves with the natural flow of the universe. Nature, both external and internal, has its laws and rhythms, and to live a fulfilled life, we must learn to accept and flow with these natural patterns. Living according to nature means recognizing that we are part of a larger whole, and our actions should reflect this interconnectedness. It's not just about respecting the natural world outside of ourselves, but also acknowledging and honoring our own true nature, the essence of who we are as human beings. This includes understanding that life will unfold according to its own rhythms, and we must accept what comes our way without resistance. Imagine you are a river flowing towards the ocean. Along the way, you will encounter rocks, branches, and obstacles. You could try to resist them and struggle against the current, but this would only exhaust you. Instead, by embracing the flow of the river, you adapt, navigate the obstacles, and continue on your path toward the ocean. In the same way, by aligning ourselves with the natural course of life, we avoid unnecessary struggle and allow ourselves to move forward with ease. This principle also encourages us to embrace our own limitations and accept the imperfections of life. The Stoics teach that by understanding and accepting our place within the grand scheme of the universe, we can find peace in knowing that everything happens for a reason. Rather than fighting against what is, we learn to embrace it and find meaning in each experience. One of the most important lessons that Stoicism imparts is the understanding of life's impermanence. Life is fleeting, and every moment is precious. By acknowledging the transient nature of all things, we free ourselves from the fear of loss and the anxiety of holding on to things that are beyond our control. Epictetus reminds us that we should live each day as if it were our last, not in a way that fosters fear or anxiety, but as a reminder of the preciousness of time. By accepting the impermanence of life, we can live more fully, appreciating each moment and embracing the experiences that come our way. This Stoic awareness of life's impermanence helps us shift our perspective from pursuing external pleasures and achievements to cultivating internal growth and virtue. It is easy to become preoccupied with wealth status and material possessions, but these things are fleeting and ultimately unsatisfying. True fulfillment comes not from accumulating external things, but from nurturing the virtues within us: wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. By focusing on living virtuously and in harmony with nature, we embrace the present moment and the impermanence of life, knowing that each experience contributes to our growth and understanding. When we accept the fleeting nature of life, we let go of attachment and learn to appreciate the richness of each experience, no matter how small. At the heart of Stoic philosophy is the idea that true happiness comes from living virtuously, not from external circumstances. The Stoics teach that we cannot control the external world, but we can control how we choose to live, what values we embody, and how we respond to challenges. Virtue is the key to inner peace, happiness, and freedom. Stoicism teaches that by cultivating wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance, we can find fulfillment and contentment regardless of external circumstances. True happiness is not about seeking pleasure or avoiding pain. It is about living in alignment with our highest values and principles. Consider the example of someone who has faced great adversity, but maintains their composure and integrity throughout. Despite the challenges, they continue to act with wisdom and virtue, knowing that these qualities are the true source of fulfillment. In contrast, someone who constantly seeks pleasure or material success may experience temporary satisfaction, but they are often left feeling empty and unfulfilled. The Stoic path to happiness is one of self-mastery and inner strength. By focusing on what is within our control, our thoughts, actions, and values, we can create a life that is grounded in meaning and purpose. This is the ultimate form of freedom, the freedom to live according to our principles, to respond to challenges with wisdom and grace, and to find contentment within ourselves, rather than in external achievements or possessions. As we conclude our exploration of Stoic philosophy, it becomes clear that the path to inner peace, resilience, and true happiness lies in our ability to align ourselves with the natural flow of life, to embrace challenges with grace, and to live in accordance with virtue. The 10 Stoic principles offer us a powerful framework for living a life of meaning and fulfillment regardless of the external storms we may face. By practicing the principles of Stoicism, we cultivate emotional invincibility, develop a deep sense of purpose, and find peace in the present moment. We learn to master our minds, respond to adversity with wisdom, and accept life's impermanence with gratitude and acceptance. Through these teachings, we come to realize that true freedom comes not from controlling the world around us, but from mastering ourselves and our reactions to the world. The journey of self-improvement is never easy, but it is worth every step. By applying these Stoic principles to our daily lives, we can become more resilient, more focused, and more at peace with ourselves and the world. As you continue on your journey, remember that you have the power to shape your own destiny. By living in accordance with nature, embracing challenges, and cultivating virtue, you can achieve the tranquility and freedom that Stoic philosophy promises. We invite you to continue exploring these principles, applying them in your life, and sharing your experiences with others. As we all strive to live more deliberately and with purpose, we can inspire one another to become the best versions of ourselves. Together, we can create a world where resilience, wisdom, and inner peace reign, regardless of the challenges life may present. Thank you for joining us on this journey through Stoic philosophy. By embracing these teachings, you are taking a powerful step towards mastering your mind, navigating life with resilience, and finding true happiness through virtue. Remember, the Stoic path is not an easy one, but it is a path that leads to lasting peace and fulfillment. Continue to explore, reflect, and apply these principles in your life, and you will find the strength to weather any storm.